You've somewhat ended up here thinking about sim racing. Maybe you found a streamer somewhere driving around Spa going absolutely flat out, or you saw something cool on the internet. And you said to yourself, well, I could probably do that, or you're just finding yourself some excuses to spend some money in a cool hobby. Whatever the reason, welcome. You're about to go down a rabbit hole that is fast, frustrating, and surprisingly addicting. In this video, we will go through all main topics sim racing related, from hardware in general with some technical choices, priorities, going all the way to the sims and attitude to carry forward to start sim racing, going from simple to complicated. This is not a video about you reaching your wallet to spend money. It's a video about learning about the hobby, what to do and what attitude to carry forward. But if you do reach towards your wallet, make sure it's one from our video sponsor, Exter. I'm really glad to have Exter again as a sponsor for the channel. I've been using their wallets for over 2 years now, and since I've swapped to these wallets, I never went back to a traditional wallet again. It's low profile and allows me to use every card that I need while knowing these will be RFID secure. If this is too much for you and you need something more traditional, Exter has now the Wallet Pro. It has a small purse inside to keep coins, to give out tips when you go for pizza, and it's still very, very low profile. Exter is running 32% off from July 15th up until August the 4th, and you can get an extra 10% when you use my affiliate link. The first step coming into sim racing is understanding if you want to do sim racing at all. For very long, I've maintained that even before starting with the basic kit, if you have a gamepad or a keyboard, that's enough to understand if you want to move to something more serious. If that's the case, the first gear you should get, if you're still totally uncertain, because some of the hobbies you just pick up for a few months and then leave, should be a good but affordable bundle that considers where you want to race on. At the start, you really need to maximize the bang for the buck. I have a few affiliate links in the description to help the channel out, including my Amazon store where there are some curated sim racing items and a few other more in-depth guides as well. And also definitely hit us up to the channel and like if this guide helps. The main recommendations will depend if you want to race on a PC or console or both. But regardless, it needs to be affordable bundles like the Logitech G29 or G93 because they are plentiful, they can be bought in secondhand, brick and mortar stores, Amazon. They are very easy to flip if you decide to leave the hobby or just upgrade. These don't even need anything else. It's wheel and pedals and can be mounted in most desks. I'm ignoring a bit the T300RS because it sits in an awkward position in terms of price and gets to be outshined by newer wheels. Depending on price, it may be a good choice, and depending if you are using the console or not. Nowadays, there are very entry-level direct drive wheelbases that come with pedals and wheel as well, with the advantage of having a quick release system to change wheels and having an ecosystem to mix and match. These include the Fanatec CSLDD Ready to Race bundles, the Mazda R3, the Mazda R5 bundles, the Trustmaster T598, and a few more. All of these are able to be mounted on a desk with adapters, but do make sure that your bundle comes with one though. Let's go towards the money sink part of the hobby, which will be spending money trying to upgrade from a basic type of equipment. But do remember that basic type of equipment will cover you about 95 to 99% of the way. If you go towards something more advanced and you want to upgrade, you have to keep a few things in mind. Make sure you prioritize and you budget. It is super easy to go overboard and ending up spending much more than you were thinking about. I have a video about doing a full rig for about $1,000 or less that has some cool ideas, and also other types of videos about entry-level or mid-range upgrades. There are a few fundamental parts in your sim rig that you need to keep in mind and you need to focus in order to have something that is useful and long-lasting. First of all, where to mount everything. If you are space constrained, there's always a desk. It is feasible, but some of the later hardware choices will be limited. If you are still space limited but still want something solid, there's choices of wheel stands and compact foldable rigs that nowadays allow for more equipment to be used on top of it. Aluminum rigs is where most of the best choices reside nowadays, as there are many choices for many types of wallets. They are modular, sturdy, and super adaptable to your needs. You can even build your own stuff if you get the parts and you get some sort of blueprint for it. Rigs are not something that you really need to upgrade every so often. Make sure that you get one that you can keep for many years. Buy one that is at least 80 in width. You can know if it's 80 in width by counting how many rails it has. It's counted 40 per rail, so 2 rail grooves will be enough. A 80 side rig will give you all the rigidity you'll need. Look for sim rigs with that 80 profile, a good pedal tray, and that's super important, and a good wheelbase deck that is rigid and compatible with most wheelbases out there. Pretty much every sim rig out there that is being sold, it is compatible with pretty much everything nowadays, but do check specifications and reviews before making your choice. With the same type of aluminum profiles, you can even build other parts of the rig, like monitor stands connected to the rig or standalone mounting like I have in my own rig. And speaking of monitor mounts, there are a few solutions. Every single one should have your PC in mind when you're using this on a PC. The most popular choice is single screen due to its low effort and low drag. There are many affordable choices out there with great response rate and color renditions starting from 27, 32, and like myself, I am using a 55-inch TV as a single screen solution for the scale. There are also single screen ultrawides or super ultrawide choices that will wrap around the driver more and you can bring them closer to your face. It still comes with the simplicity of connections, only really 2 cables to run, but at the expense of more pixels to push. The awareness is superior, not as much as the next choice. Triple screens are probably the most popular choice for those that want to get serious. The wraparound is incredible, therefore the situational awareness will be advantageous. Using triple screens will require a much heavier investment on your PC and peripherals. Popular choices for triple screens will be 27-inch screens and 32 as well. They aren't very expensive, but because you have to buy 3 of them, then it will add up. The last option will be VR. In terms of overall immersion, it is the best available. You'll literally have a perfect field of view. But not all VRs are created equal. That's true of everything else, but much more so with VR because of quality of the panel, the resolution per eye, and the size of the headset will impact PC performance and, believe it or not, a lot of your comfort as well. The choice of wheelbase and pedals will of course depend on your budget. If you're coming out of the most basic type of equipment, select it based on the budget you have available, but also think that you should have this attitude of buying once, crying once, because this will avoid spending more money and wasting more money because you are churning through equipment upgrades. It's better to spend once in a higher tier equipment than spend multiple times to get the same tier to begin with. Those incremental upgrades cost more money in the long run. The quality of most equipment nowadays is also good enough in ways that the jump from a mid tier to a high tier means absolutely nothing lap time wise. The Goldilocks zone for price to performance in sim racing nowadays is between the 9 and 15 Newton meter range, as most brands offer something that performs incredibly well and they are more or less future proof. Once again, buy once, cry once, and a good target is the 12 Newton meters with the Mozart 12, the Simagic Alpha Evo, the Fanatec Club Sport DD, the Logitech Pro, and the Conspit Ares 12 Newton meters, with excellent offers that may even cover the consoles in some cases. Always go for direct drives. Never consider belts or gear-driven equipment and you move out of the most basic entry-level equipment, as the price point for direct drives is now incredibly low, so there's really no point looking elsewhere unless you get a really good deal in some sort of Trustmaster TGT2, but that will be an edge case. The choices will depend if you want PC or console racing. Console racing, especially PlayStation, will be more expensive. Each ecosystem will have their own quick release. Depending on brand, they can have offers for multiple types of driving, though there are plenty of offers for third-party wheels. Pedals, though, are where most of the time is gained or lost. For pedals, always look for pedals with, at the very least, a load cell brake pedal, if you are upgrading from a bundled pedal set. Load cells have the advantage of measuring pressure and not distance for the brake pedal. They can start fairly affordable at around $150 or less, And always look for pedals that have a good degree of flexibility on the load cell brake stack, so you can change elastomers or springs to better suit your taste and type of braking. There are really good mid-range pedal sets like the Fanatec CSL Elite V2s or the Mozza CRP2, but the offer out there is really plentiful and I couldn't name all of them. There are also other types of pedals like active pedals or hydraulic. These tend to be quite expensive, so only viable if you really want endgame type of equipment, but that anyways doesn't mean you're gonna be faster. Equipment is just one part of the story. While it looks exciting at first glance, the really exciting part is actually competing against other people or actually doing laps. There are lots of options on the PC for doing that, all the way from sports cars racing towards rally and ovals and all of that. For the consoles though, your choices are a little bit more limited. In the PlayStation, there's the behemoth of Gran Turismo 7. It is a title that really doesn't need much introduction. It has been the start for many in sim racing, as it is much of a museum for car culture, as it has been a place for competitive racing for the last 10 years or so. The counterpart for the PlayStation and the PC is Forza Motorsports. While it has not been as well received as Gran Turismo 7, it still has a great deal of content, and in many ways it's comparable to Gran Turismo 7, minus the tone of the game. Both Gran Turismo 7 and Forza are good casual games with a good deal of simulation value that don't really require a lot of commitment. They can be as casual or as competitive as you want, and also a springboard if you want to move somewhere else later on. While we are still on the consoles, another option will be Assetto Corsa Competizione, but this one is bigger on the PC, so let's have a look at the PC titles. The first one being iRacing. It's still the go-to for serious online racing. You have lots of races, you have safety rating, driver rating, and a matchmaking system that will put you with people with the same skill and rewards you not crashing, so good luck. iRacing is not cheap, it's subscription based, and most of the content that you're gonna drive when you start moving out of the basic stuff is going to be paid. That means tracks and cars, but you have choices for everything, all the way from ovals and oval dirts to multi-class sports cars with a progressive career based on your safety rating. And these even include situations where you have special events like Spa or Le Mans or even Daytona. Now, we also have Assetto Corsa, which will be the sandbox of the sim racing world. You can race just about anything on just about any track if you dive into mods. And that even includes driving a T-Rex around the Nürburgring. There's probably a mod for everything out there. This game is an essential, in my opinion, well worth the price, and even spending a bit on a few essential mods to completely change your experience. The driving model is really good. There's a lot of people playing online, and there's even competitive online racing via low fuel motorsports. And speaking of LFM, Assetto Corsa Competizione is the newer title, not the newest one. It's more focused than its older sibling. This one is all about GT cars and endurance racing. It looks really nice, it drives very nicely, and has a competitive online community in 2025 via low fuel motorsports. But the lack of support nowadays, because the developers are going towards Assetto Corsa Evo, means this game is losing some steam. And speaking about Assetto Corsa Evo, this one is still in early access and it's going to be developed, but it should have in the very near future competitive multiplayer. It should also have free roams and a bunch of stuff, but we're really not sure at the moment how it's going to develop. As we are in talking about early access, one big one out there is Le Mans Ultimate. This is the newish kid on the grid and it's been making waves. LMU focuses on endurance racing with the WEC license, so think about 24 hours of Le Mans and Bahrain and all of that with all the hyper car goodness. The game launched with a solid physics and great visuals, and by 2025 it has matured into a properly polished sim with a full version launching very, very soon. You should expect a full day and night cycles, multi-class racing, so you should also think about traffic nightmares and long stints that test your focus and bladder control. If you ever dreamed of racing a Ferrari hypercar at the sunrise in France, this is where it happens. There are smaller titles as well, like our Factor 2, Race Room, and Automobilista 2. They are more niche, but loved by diehards. Great physics, solid single player, and each one has its own flavor. It's not as plug and play, but it can be rewarding once you settle in. They also now starting to have competitive racing integrated or via low fuel motorsports. But my go-tos lately will be Llama Ultimate in iRacing and Assetto Corsa for doing some road driving. This is for sports cars, racing, and ovals, but if rally is really what makes you tick, there are a few options as well. You have Dirt Rally 2, which is still a favorite among rally fans even in 2025. It's not brand new, but the driving feel, the car selection, and stage design still holds up. It is punishing, it is intense, and if you sneeze at the wrong moment, you'll find yourself upside down in a ditch in a good way, and it happened to me a lot. Then you also have eSports WRC. Codemasters took over the official WRC game and gave it the Dirt Rally treatment. The staged variety is top tier, and the 2025 updates have been smoothed out most of the early launch bugs. It's still a solid entry point for a rally fan, especially if you want something a little bit more modern, or you have something that you just plug and play and race. Not as liked, but it has its advantages. Then you have the cult classic Richard Burns Rally, original released in 2004 and still going strong thanks to an absolutely rabid modding community. It's not beginner friendly, but if you want the most realistic, no hand-holding, pure rally experience, this is going to be it. Just be ready to suffer a lot. But even when you get the equipment and start driving the sim, there's a reality check you need to get. You're probably gonna be terrible at start, happens to everyone. You'll hit the virtual walls, you'll go through the grass mowing it. It's just a natural step of the process. Eventually, you will get better. Improving in sim racing takes a lot of time. It's kind of like learning a new instrument, except your wrong notes involve crashing into tire barriers. So here are some tips. You should practice with purpose. Instead of just hot lapping until your eyes bleed, focus on specific things like braking earlier, hitting the same apex consistently, understanding where the apex is or which line you should take. You should work on smooth steering. Small stuff will add up, then start braking later, experimenting with brake releases to learn proper braking discipline. My trick for this is actually watching faster drivers, whether that will be onboard videos or replays or ghost laps or guides that will have online, or even checking their streams. Studying the quick ones or the quick drivers is incredibly helpful. Generally, their guides are super helpful, and if you are perceptive, you can also check out how they brake or how they throttle up, how they turn and all of that, and you can learn even more than that. And don't have any problem of using tools if you feel stuck. There are apps and overlays that can show your lap data, braking points, and even give AI coaching in 2025. If you want to get better, these are gold. And I can recommend the channel sponsor Coach Dave Academy Delta that has setups, telemetry, video tips on their YouTube, and even AI analysis. It is unskippable if you really want to improve. Never skip the basics like trail braking, throttle control, and proper racing lines. These will matter more than any fancy setups or flashy liveries. There are a lot of online resources, including videos showing techniques and how to apply them. Eventually, you'll start connecting the dots. Nothing beats the feeling of nailing a perfect lap, except maybe doing it again in a race with someone right on your tail. Sim racing is as much as attitude as it is a technique. You need patience, focus, intelligence, maturity, and also the ability at laughing of yourself when things go wrong, and they will eventually go wrong. You're not in Formula One, so chill out, have fun, and don't get mad if you get out-qualified by 3 seconds. It happens a lot. It happens to me even today. Don't be a hero on lap 1, seriously. The amount of races I've been in that were ruined before turn 2, it is unreal and it's maddening. Ease into it and pick your battles, be intelligent, calculate your risks, and then race clean, respect other drivers, give space, apologize if you mess up. That reputation will follow you online. Even when bad stuff happens, Don't let your ego make you see red. Don't ever try to retaliate or escalate. There's really no point. Enjoy the process. The improvements are often slow, but they are real, and every little win, like a clean race or a new personal best, feels amazing. Think of sim racing as a long-term thing. It's not a sprint, but a never-ending time trial where you slowly suck less over time. In 2025, sim racing has never been more accessible or more fun. Whether you're a total beginner or a car nerd looking for something new, there's a place for you here. You don't need the best gear or the fanciest sim or the fastest laps. You just need to have curiosity and willingness to learn. So get your gear out, no matter if it's a keyboard or a gamepad or something on a desk or something on a sim rig. Start your journey. You're going to spin a few dozen times. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be frustrating, and it's going to be thrilling, and it's going to be totally worth it. See you out there.